Welcome to Greek for a Week. We are looking at a new paragraph starting this week. We're going to be wrapping up chapter 3, which is verses 18 through 22. But this week, verses 18 and 19 will be the subject that we discuss. So here is verse 18 and verse 19. Keep in mind that as we wrapped up verses 13 through 17 with a diagram last week, that verse 18, beginning with a hati, really provides the motivational grounds or the reasoning for the various imperatives that Peter gives in verses 13 through 17. So beginning with verse 18 is a bit difficult because technically it really ought to be connected with 13 through 17. It's just I thought verses 13 through 22 would be too big of a paragraph to tackle at one time. So that's why I kind of broke it off there at verse 18. So let's begin. For Christ also died for sins once for all, the righteous for the unrighteous, so that he might bring to God you, having been put to death in the flesh, and having been made alive in the Spirit, in which also he made proclamation when also going to the spirits in prison. So as I mentioned, the hati there is the cause or the motivational grounds, really again for all of 13 through 17. You have peri hamartion, for sins. You could also say there with reference to sins. So that could be a genitive of reference there with the use of peri. And then you have another preposition. You have dikaios, and then here's the huper. There's my preposition, and a daikon. That's where it's the righteous with representation or the advantage for the unrighteous. So that's Christ here as the righteous dying for us or for you, the unrighteous. And then, of course, hina would indicate a purpose clause moving forward here. And then I didn't translate the men here. If you notice that, I didn't translate the men. I did translate the de as and, but really this could be a men de construction. So you could say, on the one hand, having been put to death here, and then you could say, on the other hand, having been made alive. So that's a contrast there that Peter is bringing out. And then you have the two words that I just underlined here, the thanatothes and then zopoiethes. Both of those are aorist passive participles. Again, likely they are participles of means. That is the means by which he brings the unrighteous to God. That is, here it would be through death, and then here having been made alive. Then you have the en ho, which is a dative of means here. So this is also how he provided us with that relationship. He made proclamation to the spirits. Okay, that's what was said there in verse 18. Then you have the paru face. So here would be another aorist middle participle, masculine nominative singular of paruamai. That's likely a temporal participle. You'll notice I said in which here he made proclamation, and then I said when, all right, when he went to the spirits here in prison. So I used a temporal marker, the case or the word when, to communicate that. And then you have here the ke ruksen, that is third person singular, aorist active indicative of ke ruso. Usually that's translated as preach. Could also be the word for proclaim, which is how I translated it. So that's verses 18 and 19. Moving forward with a new paragraph. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to do 20 through 22 next week. We'll see how things go. But anyways, there's verses 18 and 19. Have a great week.